June 17th, 8:02. My entire life changed. We didn't expect you, at least not this early. But we are so happy and proud that you're here now. How's it going, everybody? I'm Patrick Static, and this is the story on how my son was born. It all started Friday, June 16th, with an OBGYN appointment that Adler and I had. It was just a regular checkup at 9:15 in the morning. We got there a little early, and they went through all of their normal checkups. Everything was looking okay until they had to take Adler's blood pressure. The first check, it ran a little high, and we were a little concerned, but it's a couple of stairs to get up to this office, so we were like, maybe it's just a little high, because, we climbed a lot of stairs. They left us for about 15-20 minutes to let kind of Adler's, levels drop. They were going to retest it. While they were gone, Adler and I were talking about everything we were going to be getting done for this weekend. We were talking about going grocery shopping. We were talking about going over to the P.O. box and getting so many of the things everybody has been sending us. Just not even a week prior to this date, we just had our in real life baby shower with our friends and family here in my hometown. So we were still kind of just coming off of that adrenaline rush. All of our friends and family literally just left 2 days prior to this doctor checkup. So we were trying to make weekend plans. Yeah, I was planning on streaming. We just got done streaming here on YouTube, and everything was going great. I was getting back into the role of things, of posting here on YouTube more frequently. Then the nurse came back in and took Adler's blood pressure again. It was worse this time. It was much higher. The doctor came in, Dr. Miller came in, and she was saying, I would feel really comfortable if you two went over to the hospital, which is just kitty corner to where we were at, and to get some blood work. And so we looked at each other like, yeah, we can do that. It's just right there, that won't take any time. It won't mess with any of our plans. We walked across the street. We had this vanilla envelope that the doctor gave us, and no one told us what we were doing, where to go. They just told us to take this and give it to the registration people at the hospital. In our minds, we're there to just give some blood. So we gave the vanilla envelope to the registration people, or to the security people. They told us to sit at registration and that there would be someone quickly to come get us. Okay. They ended up bringing down a wheelchair for Adler. Adler was wheeled up to the maternity section. It's funny because on the way to the hospital, which is like literally just 2-minute walk, we were like, oh, we need to bring our registration stuff. We also need to get the maternity tour. Typically, when you're pregnant, you can go and get kind of a tour of the maternity ward just to kind of ease you in and not be so scared. And we're like, oh yeah, we gotta sign up for that still too, because at this point, we're 8 weeks out from her due date. We thought we have a lot of time. That came a lot sooner than we thought, because before we knew it, we were walking through the maternity ward. We got situated in a room in the far corner, and we were told, Adler was told to kind of disrobe and put this gown on and lay down in bed. And we had this amazingly nice nurse. Her name was Tony. Kind of gave us a rundown of everything that's happening. We were then basically admitted to the hospital, and unbeknownst to us, Adler would not be leaving that hospital pregnant again. We were there for a total of 6.5 days, and the following day on Saturday is when she gave birth. Adler was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia. If you don't know what that is, it's where your body just starts to shut down effectively. It started affecting her liver really bad. We didn't know Adler was as sick as she was. I didn't even really believe what the doctors were claiming until I saw her blood work and lab charts and everything. Because you can't, you can't dispute that. Adler showed no symptoms. The doctors asked her hundreds of times, do you have any blurred vision? Do you have any headaches, migraines, any spots in your vision? Does this hurt? Does your chest hurt? Does it hurt here? Does anything hurt? No, and no. It was always no. She never had any symptoms. And that's the scariest thing about everything that happened. Her feet were a little swollen, but aside from that, she was fine. Baby was fine. It freaks me out to this day still, if we didn't go to that doctor's appointment. Adler could have had a stroke and worse while I sit here and work every day. She could have been in the bedroom. She could have been out in our garden. She could have been doing something, and God forbid, something bad, horrible could have happened. The fact that nothing did, it's a blessing. Anywho, Friday came. We kind of got the news from our main doctor that she has severe preeclampsia. Her liver enzymes have grown to a dangerous level, and her blood pressure was extremely high. I think at one point it was like 186 over 100 and something. It was dangerous high. So they immediately put her on magnesium, which is to kind of help the body kind of relax. And she was on that for, I think, 2.5, 3 days. So she effectively had really, really rough time walking because it just relaxes your body incredibly. She was also on a number of IVs. It took the doctors about 2 hours to set the IV. Adler has very, I don't want to say deep veins, but I think that's kind of what it is. She has very, very messed up veins. Not messed up, but like very, she's got very silly veins. It's really hard for the doctors to get an IV for her. And so she was just bruised and pricked all the way up to her shoulder. And I felt so bad for her. But they finally got an IV and they were finally able to give her all the medicine she needed. Friday came and went, and it was probably the most emotional and stressful and sad day of our lives because we were told this beautiful birthing process that we were hoping to have with our son wasn't going to happen. It was around this time, I think I posted a YouTube community post here on YouTube saying what was going on. We were estimated to be there until Adler hit her 34th week of pregnancy, which is this coming Monday. It would have been, actually today of me posting this, it would have been the 26th of June. This is technically her 34th week of being pregnant. It's the 34th week of our son being born, or not born, but a son. So that's exciting. But they wanted her to stay in the hospital and try to give birth at this point. That's just kind of the safety, the big safe bubble that they try to aim for. Again, this was kind of Friday night on the 16th. I knew deep in my heart, I didn't think she was going to last the weekend. I felt baby was going to be here. And I think everybody else in the room, the other 3 nurses and the 2 doctors, we all kind of knew it. Saturday came, and they gave Adler a choice of do not eat or drink anything. And this went for about 4 to 5 hours. I felt terrible. I didn't eat or drink anything with her because I just didn't want to be a temptation. I felt really bad. The only thing that I could do was to grab like a washcloth and to kind of wet it and put it on her lips, and she can kind of suck a little bit of the water off of the. It was the most painful thing I've ever had to see somebody else go through. in a very long time. It broke my heart. Around 2-3 o'clock, we were told, okay, we did this just in case we need to do emergency C-section. Things are leveling out. Her blood pressure is leveling out. Her labs aren't exactly where the doctor wants, but it's safe enough to have her eat. So I was overjoyed. I got her a bunch of water. I ordered her, she wanted clam chowder. Ordered her some clam chowder, some sourdough bread from a local place that we love to eat. It was then an hour later that our doctor said, you know what? At this point, we're going to kind of have to induct you. We're going to have to go through that induction process, which is giving birth normally. Now, if you guys have, I believe that's what it's called. My brain is so frizzle-frazzled from the last week and a half. Basically, this process takes days to do. We didn't know if we had days because her blood work and all of her labs was just getting worse. The blood work came back from prior when she started eating, and we thought her levels and everything, like her blood pressure, they got somewhat stable. Her liver and everything, there was a point where she was effectively going quick. It was bad, very bad. It was 3 times worse than when they checked it the day prior, 24 hours prior. So the doctor gave us this choice. They're like, this is going to be the hardest choice you're going to ever have to make, but we either have to induce you or you're going to have to go for a C-section. This was Adler's first time being hospitalized for anything. And the thought of a C-section, if you guys don't know, that's when they go in and they cut baby out. That is the only cure for preeclampsia. Get baby out, the body can start to heal. That is the only cure. There was a time where Adler and I were the only ones in the room. My mom, my brother, a lot of my family, a lot of Adler's family were all helping us. So many of you guys were reaching out and just giving us the well wishes and thoughts, which I greatly appreciate. But there was about a 10-15 minute period where it was just Adler and I in the room just crying, because this choice that we wanted to have for our baby boy was kind of just taken from us. And so I told Adler I would support her with whatever she chose. And after a while, she chose, I don't want to prolong my body deteriorating any further. If I decide to get induced, there's a chance I just keep getting worse. I don't want to play around with that. Let's just get the C-section. She made a very, very brave and courageous choice. And in hindsight now, it was definitely the right choice. And every single doctor, anesthesiologist, nurse, they all agreed with us that it was the right choice. So at this point, it was around 4:30, 5 o'clock. And so they said, you know what? We're going to try. I think it was around 3:30 actually, because they said it was about a 4 or 5 hour window. So my time window might be a little off, but basically Adler just ate. And so they wanted to give Adler about 4 hours of time to kind of start digesting that food. And the latest they wanted to have a surgery was 8 o'clock, 7 to 8 o'clock. So our doctor immediately said, okay, C-section, let's get this. So our doctor immediately went and called as many doctors as she could to get this C-section going. And they got it scheduled and everything else happened around. And at this point, Adler was not able to eat or drink anything again. They just don't want anything in the stomach when they do a big surgery, just to avoid a lot of issues, throwing up being one of them. So here on out, it gets a little graphic. I'm going to avoid all of that just because it bugs me still. But Adler got a spinal block at 7 o'clock. She got called. She wasn't able to walk anywhere, so they just took the whole bed and they took it into the operating room. I gave her a big kiss, a big hug. I'm hoping that future Patrick is including a lot of pictures while I'm kind of retelling the story. I try to document as much as I could. And that was the last time Adler and I were going to be in that room pregnant. I made her a special little video telling her how much I love her and how proud I am of her. And she was taken to the operation room. They put a spinal block in her back of her spine, which basically below the breasts downward, you can't feel a damn thing. Everything is numb. She couldn't even move willingly. She couldn't really move anything. Any legs, arms, nothing. I think she could move her arms a little bit. She just couldn't move her legs, her toes, none of that. At around 7:30, our amazing nurse Dana came around and grabbed me. She's like, okay, honey. She grabbed my hand. She's like, there's going to be a lot of things. Do not touch anything that's blue. There's going to be a lot of things that might gross you out. You don't need to look beyond the screen. Just hold her hand and keep talking to her. So I said, okay. I'm going to interject a little editor note here. The birthing thing, if you guys are parents or dads out there watching, my biggest thing that I was scared about was passing out while my fiance was giving birth. It was the one biggest thing I was scared of. I am happy to say I did not pass out. I did not throw up, anything like that. They opened the doors. The screen was there, and I saw some stuff. Blood and all that fun junk. I sat down, immediately focused on her face, held onto her hand, and I shit you not, one of our doctors' names, I believe she was our anesthesiologist, making sure that Adler's vitals and everything was okay. Her name is Dr. Payne. I wish I was joking. She was one of the nicest people in there. But she was asking us a lot of great things, like, oh, what are you guys, what are your hobbies? And Adler was just going off about our garden and playing video games and stuff. It was awesome. About 20 minutes of them working went by. Maybe it wasn't even that long. But around, we were talking, trying to keep Adler from realizing what was going on. And before any of you guys ask, was there any pain or anything? No. Adler described it as a lot of pressure. And I don't even want to begin to think what that was like. But I sat in a chair and I held her hand. And we just talked about gardening. I tried to distract her about a lot of stuff. And then around 8:02 on June 17th, we heard our son cry. He was 8 weeks early. But they said, baby boy. We knew it was a boy. But they said, baby boy, 8:02, baby boy. And we heard him cry for the first time. And I cannot describe to any of you the joy that came afterwards, because Adler and I just looked at each other and we just started crying. We were hoping to hear him cry, and we did. It was the most beautiful noise we've ever heard. They took a quick picture of him after he was born. It's not the best picture, but we wanted to see him. The doctors prior to this whole operation asked if I was comfortable cutting the umbilical cord, but because it was kind of this quick emergency C-section, that choice was no longer mine, which is okay. After he was born, I was to follow him to the NICU, where he was going to be spending a couple of weeks, and at the time of me recording this, he's still there. He's unfortunately not home with us just yet. But I had to leave Adler, so I gave her a kiss on her forehead, and before you ask, you guys saw the photos, I'm decked out in scrubs. I had a mask on and everything, but I told her I would see her very soon. I would see her very soon. I squeezed her hand and I gave her one big kiss on her forehead. I told her I loved her. And then I walked out with my with our son, with all the nurses. And at this point, my mom begged every single nurse there, and there wasn't a lot of other pregnant moms, so it was a little easier for the doctors to bend the rules a little bit. But as they wheeled him to the NICU, it was kind of this like U upside down. It's like an N, I guess, kind of like shaped hallway where we were going. They opened the door to the NICU and let my mom run in to try to get a photo of him. But my mom saw me in my scrubs, and my mom saw our son, and she just started crying. She gave me a hug. I was like, I gotta go. And we were taken to the NICU. It was just me and my son, and all of the nurses, of course. This is where they weighed him. They took his length. Again, he was 8 weeks premature. So he weighed 3 pounds, 11 ounces. He was 16 and a half inches long. After I got to see our son kind of exist for a little bit, I was so happy, but I was so worried about Adler. Because it's been about 10 minutes, and we were told that it's going to be 10-15 minutes to kind of suture her up, staple her shut, and everything. So I went out to the NICU waiting room where my brother was there, my mom was there. My brother immediately came and gave me a big hug. He's like, "Let's go!" I was so tired. I mean, up to this point, Adler and I barely had slept. We were inside of the hospital for almost 2 days. It's been about freaking, I'm trying to think, about 38 hours of us being straight in this hospital. We barely slept through the first day. And so I stayed in the NICU waiting room with my mom and my brother for a while. They only allow 2 visitors at a time, just because COVID regulations, and it's not a lot of room up there anyway. But then our main doctor, her name's Dr. Campbell, she came in and said Adler's out of surgery. And so I gave her a hug, I gave my mom, my brother a hug, and I immediately went back in. And I just wanted to go see my fiance. And I walked into our new room that we were in, and she had this big smile on her face, and she's like, "How is he?" So I showed her a bunch of pictures I took, and I'm like, "He's so small," and we started crying again. Sunday night, kind of going back in time a little bit, at around 11 o'clock, this was about 24 hours after Adler gave birth, she sat up in bed and said, "I want to go see my son." And it was at this point we gave him a name. She couldn't really walk. It was, the effects of the spinal block was still hurting. It took everything out of her. But I was able to ask our great, awesome nurse, Dana, if she could get like a wheelchair and we could just wheel her into the NICU. Like, yeah, of course. So we go in the NICU, and every time you go in, you have to scrub down for about 2 minutes all the way down to your elbow. So we did that, and then she was able to be pulled up right next to our son. And at that moment, we gave him the name Milo.
It's okay. Could you roll her closer? Yeah. Just make sure nothing's pulling too tight. Yeah. And then throw another blanket on top. So just for a few minutes, because he gets cold. Yeah. That blanket for this face.
We were through, we were kind of torn between a couple of names, but as of right now, and I'm not going to try to dox myself, so I'll just use my stage name. But right now, our son's name is Milo Tyson David Static. David is a pretty important name in my family. It's my dad's name. It's my grandpa's name. It's my middle name. It's my brother's middle name. Dave is just all throughout our family. Milo wasn't really an inspiration for anything. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, "Oh, but was it for this? Was it that?" No. Adler's sister threw it out one day, and we really, really liked it. So we kind of been calling him Milo for the last couple of months, and we were between that and a couple of the names, but we landed on Milo. And for Tyson, that name means a lot to me. A lot of you guys may know him. I guarantee you, I tell you his stage name, and every one of you will know it. But a couple of years ago, I lost one of my best friends, and his name was Zombie Mold. His real name is Tyson. And so I talked with Wade, I talked with Adler. I was like, "Hey, if we have a son, I would really like to name him after Zombie." And Adler said, "No problem. I love that." So we named our son Milo Tyson. So it took us about 6 days before we were able to leave the hospital. We left on Wednesday, the June 21st. around 12 o'clock. It was a long days of recovering every day. Adler went through so much, but we were finally able to leave. But unfortunately, Milo was not done cooking yet. He was not done baking. And so we unfortunately had to leave him there. They gave us these nice white bands so that we can go see him practically anytime we want. Literally last night, me recording this, we went over there around 10:30, 11 o'clock. We can go there at 2 a.m. if we really wanted to. As of right now, this happened throughout the week. His breathing has been doing really, really well. Adler took a couple of steroid shots, which was to kind of help boost his lung development a little bit. So I think is because Adler taking those that he's been doing so well. I actually got kind of sick halfway through our visit in this hospital. I got a fever, and that was mainly because on Father's Day, which was this past Sunday, funny enough, it all happened at the same time. I went and I got my whooping cough shot, my tetanus and all that fun shot. And a fever is most likely to come with that. Now, before you guys are like, why did you get it so late? I didn't. I got it a lot earlier than I thought I would have had to, because we were expecting our due date was on August 7th. So I had a lot of time to go and do this. Our son Milo just wanted to come and see y'all a little bit early. So this is the reason why I have fallen behind in YouTube content and YouTube streams. Now that we're back home, not all three of us yet, but now that I'm back home, we've been trying to get his nursery all set up, painted. We're trying to make sure Adler is recovering okay. She's been doing breast pumping and feeding and stuff like that, trying to get as much milk for our son. We're literally going there every single day. I'm actually going there right after we record this to go see him. But we're trying so hard to get everything ready for his arrival at home that I've just been not streaming as much. I haven't been doing anything but worrying about family. So from my heart, I am sorry. I didn't mean, no one could have predicted this. I guess the doctors could have predicted this because they saw her blood pressure. But they practically saved her life and our son's, which I am forever grateful for. But now that things are back home, now that we're all back home and things are a little bit slowing down a little bit until Milo comes home, I'm going to plan to try to get everything back on track again. So I thank you for being patient with me. I know I put that community post out and so many of you guys understood. But for those of you guys that didn't see that, didn't see my Twitter, didn't see the Discord, didn't see anything, or didn't even know I was having a child, because that is still creeping by some people. You're like, what? You're having a kid? No, I had a kid. My amazing fiance did all the amazing work, and he's so adorably cute. So I'll be talking about him a lot from here on out. I'm very, very proud of Adler, and I'm very, very proud of our son. And I'm so excited to have this new evolution to our channel here. Anywho, this was meant to be just a quick video. I guess it was for me to record, but now I have to insert all the photos and videos and everything that I want. But thank you guys so much for understanding. Thank you for being patient with our family. And thank you for all the outpouring amount of support here on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on the Discord. Thank you. Thank you. I love all of your guys' faces. I will see you guys soon. Expect a couple of streams from here on out, just like I planned. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That all might change now with the baby, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys all next time. See you guys then.